Hello and welcome to the Digital Ink portal demo. Today we're going to be looking at the form management portal here. It's a secure web-based system, so we'll just enter some login credentials and open the system up. It's thin client web-based, so it means that you can view your forms from anywhere in the world. You don't have to be within your organisation. This portal is used primarily to deliver form output, so when engineers and salespeople and service people in the field complete a form, it will be delivered back to the Digital Ink portal. So in here we have various options, but what we're going to do is just click a shortcut to view the credit card application form. And basically what we see here is just a work queue of the previous forms that have been filled in, some search mechanisms and whatnot, but basically if we take a look at a form, just a form that's previously been completed, what we see in here is that we have what we call sort of the data validation stroke working area of we can minimise the menu to make more room, but this just allows us to view a credit card application form as it's coming from the field. We've got the handwritten data view here. Also in this view, by pressing the control key on our keyboard, we can toggle between the data view and the handwritten view, which is quite nice, because if for any reason any of these fields were incorrect, we could just overtype those and update the actual data view of the form. This particular view of the form isn't intended to be of a resolution that is able to be reused. It's just basically where you would, as an administrator or as a key user, or indeed the person who filled the form in, it's just where you would actually update the form values if the pen has got any data handwriting recognition incorrect. Here we can see it's all hunky-dory. We've got a Z on the end of Cheshire there, so we may want to delete that. And if we click save and continue, it will save that data away and just tell us that the form's been saved. The top right hand corner of the portal is the hub really of the useful features. We have a play form feature which will allow you to watch a video replay of a form and the way in which it was filled in. We have view PDF option, which will just open the handwritten view of the form that we can see here. We have PDF text, which is the data toggle view within a PDF. And we also have a change log, and this form's gone through a number of iterations of change, and we'll take a look at the log shortly. But if I start by showing you the PDF, the handwritten PDF output of derived from Digital Ink, we can see here that the form is quite high resolution. We're fairly unique in the marketplace in that we use raster graphics on our forms, which means that as you zoom in, the quality of the form doesn't degrade. So as I zoom in here, we can see all the logos are nice and crisp. The artwork doesn't diminish in quality, and more importantly, the pen output doesn't, when our competitors get to sort of 800%, the text starts getting grainy. You'll see it just won't be as clear basically, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but we've had certainly medical and legal clients tell us that it very much is a big deal, because for fraud detection and checking out signatures, I mean, we can zoom in here for example to 6,400% and the ink doesn't degrade at all, which is really useful on signatures. It also means, using the raster technology, that the form size is kept to a minimum. It's about a third of the size of a normal digital pen file, so that's quite good. But we can see it's just generally a very good, much better than it would be from a scanned copy perspective. It's in full colour and it can be produced at this reproduced in head office to this quality as well on a colour printer. So really useful. If we take a look now at the PDF text version of the file, we can see that it's the same form really, but with data where the handwriting was, so it converts field values to data. The play form feature, these features are covered under separate videos in some more detail by the way, but the play form video feature is really useful in that you can select the replay speed. So we'll select 2 times, so twice the normal speed. You can choose page. This is only a 1-page form, so it will only allow us to play page 1. But if we click play, we can see the exact sequence in which a form was filled in, which is really useful because if a client is an end customer is, say, signing off a provisional order, it's important that the form content doesn't change after that customer signature or the end user signature hits the form. And here we can see the form's being filled in a correct sort of sequence. We've got bits and pieces being added to the form. It's great for audit, for example, and it's also great for spotting if a client or a member of staff, more specifically, is filling in a form in an incorrect sequence. So if you imagine an engineer filling in a form, if there is a certain order in which the form should be completed, i.e. the asset should be serviced in a certain routine manner, then you can see when your engineer is deviating away from that predefined framework using the video feature. So that's been really well received by our clients. We've also got an audit log view of a form, change log, so we can see all of the changes that have happened. So down in this section we can see the form first started being filled in at 11:37, it was completed at 11:44. These are the changes, so where there wasn't an address originally, an address is being populated. In this instance it's being populated automatically from a postcode and a house number. And we can see where we've tidied up an address more recently. We changed the spacing on Knutsford, Queen Street, and we can actually see up here where we dropped the Z off Cheshire on the last attempt, where we just tidied that address up a touch. But essentially this is really useful for auditing where multiple pen users may be filling in the same form, or indeed we can see these changes were applied on the web, whereas the form was originally originated from a pen. So again, it's just a useful audit control to allow you to keep track of where things are in the portal. So in a nutshell, that's the Digital Ink portal. It allows you to view, search for forms. We can search for forms of a different type, so we could see let's take a look at the flooring survey report. There's only one in there, but you can just basically duck and dive around, search for your forms that relate to your business, see that the forms have been completed. Here we can see on the next to the form icon there's a little photo symbol, which means if I click that form, there is actually a photo or a series of photos applied to this form. So we can mouse over the photos. When a photo is taken in the field using the Digital Ink router on the mobile handset, you don't need to do any housekeeping, so these photos will have been taken and we can click open to see them full view. Just close that down. Just close the window inadvertently there. But essentially when you take photos from the field, all of the housekeeping to do with those photos is automatically allocated to the form, and it will just basically upload all of the photos without the engineer needing to do any housekeeping whatsoever. So if we just go back to that form for the non-conformance report here, and actually view the same form again. So it was this one we were looking at with the photos attached to it. Sorry about that. We can view, when we view the PDF text version of the form now, it will actually open with the photos automatically inserted to the back of the report. So again, there's no housekeeping to be done by the engineer. You've got the form that's been filled in, and there we can see the photos have been automatically appended to the actual file. So this is a motive power battery engineer application, and if we just close that back down, we can see that we can still do the toggle to view the data changes. Things like the signature don't change, which is quite nice. You can capture the signatures and leave those in a fully legally admissible BIP 0008 form, and the same with the previous form that we looked at. If we look at the PDF version first rate. When we zoom in to the form, the handwriting remains absolutely consistent. If we zoom in for a signature, for example, we can see in the most minuscule level of detail, and we could actually detect whether that is a legitimate signature if we were to compare it with others. And again, we can go right up to 6400 dpi, which is rarely required, but it's nice to have the option. The photos aren't put in the original handwriting version of the form, they only appear in the PDF text version of the form. But we can see it's quite a useful hub come storage site. Everything sits in one place, which is quite nice. This form, for example, I could do file email and actually send that directly to the customer if necessary. So here we could just punch a mail address in, and away we go. The actual form can be sent attached to the email in seconds, along with the seems to just close this down. If you want to send the email, you can send it along with the attachments. So if that was photos of, say, a piece of kit that had accident damage or signs of misuse, then very easy to send that all in one report. The forms, if we just go back to our home, and actually if I click the credit card application, I'm just going to fill a form in now while we're on the demo. Obviously you can't see what I'm doing with the digital ink pen, but if I just fill in a form and say Mr. Chris Johnson, and I tick send, basically the last form that we saw here, I'll just minimise this menu to make a bit more room, was at 11:44. If I just accept the message on the mobile router to say that that form's been submitted, if we now refresh the web browser, we can see that at actually at 2:03 we've got Mr. Johnson's form. It's done a slight typo because it thinks that's a lowercase o, quite easily rectified. At this point I'll just show you that when the form's first received, the changelog would be empty because it's a changelog, not the origination of a form. But if we now toggle to update the lowercase o to an uppercase o, and I click save and continue, form saved, nice and informative. If we then go to view the changelog now, we'll see that actually myself as a user, a website user, originated a change to the surname field, and we changed Johnson to Johnson. So it's a full record of exactly what changes have been made. Another key point is that if we save and close on the form, if I now fill in an address, 1 for example, CW9 8FS in the postcode field, and tick send again, the pen just talks to the mobile router, which you can't see as we do it in the office here, but it tells me that the form's been successfully received. So the form here at 2:03, when I click refresh on the web browser, we should see comes in a later form, yes, 2:04:52. So if we click to view the form, what we'll find now is that the postcode field that I've put in here, when we click the toggle to go to the address, it will actually derive a lookup ordinarily on this address field. It's not found that particular address, so it's not done it, but it's just a demonstration really of how we can, that might be a patient ID for example, and we could skip off and actually fill in patient detail or whatever from a derived field value. But the main purpose of that demo is to show you that no matter when I write on this form, the digital ink solution will tie those changes back to the original Chris Johnson record, and if we go to view changelog now, it will show me that actually we entered a postcode and a house number using the digital pen at 204. So all the while it's keeping a log. If I now go to fill in a home telephone number and these account details, I'll just do that offline. So I'll say my home number is 01606 123456, and we'll say the sort code and account number is 123456 12121212, and I'll tick send again, and you can see the sort of time frame that we're talking about. Forms are sent back to the portal inside 5 seconds, 5-10 seconds. So the router's just telling me that the form's being delivered. So if we go back to form view via the home, just click the credit card queue, we can see that we've had a new version of the form at 206, and actually that's the version where I've just written the home telephone number and the sort code and the account number onto the form. If I click the control key on my keyboard to toggle between data view, we can see that it has actually captured 01606 123456 accurately, and hopefully it's done the sort code 123456. Yep, I can confirm that's correct, and the account number, which is obviously a mock account number 12121212, and all that data is present and correct. And you can start to see how Digital Ink, whilst you can actually update small changes like the lowercase o that came through, slight typo, you can see that because we don't need to extract the data or manually key the data more specifically, it can save a hell of a lot of time for a business in terms of the form here. If it was a credit card being filled in at, say, an application at a service station, it's back with head office inside 5 to 10 seconds rather than maybe 5 to 10 days. The head office can be processing that application, viewing the handwriting, comparing that with the data, correcting any typos. We've got the full audit log still, but actually we can just save that form in its current state. And if we go back to the queue now and actually look at the form view for the credit card applications, so just find the form on this queue. Is quite busy, this demo environment. But here we've got credit card app. If I were to check the top level view of the form, we've got options to export to CSV or XML. So if I export to CSV and open that file, and we can do this in a batch mode as well, an automatic action to export this data, but here we can see that the data can be exported to any other system via CSV or XML. We've got the sort code there. We'll have the address, the current address, so number 1 at the postcode, and there we see the home telephone number and the title. There's the account number. So we can see that the data can very quickly be put into a spreadsheet. It can be sent to other systems via XML, and this is all achievable with the Digital Ink product straight out of the box. There's also a branding opportunity on the portal. That's nice if you want to share your output, your service output, your order forms, proof of delivery notes, for example, with your end clients, because you can have your own identity on here. It doesn't have to sing Digital Ink. That could be another company brand and logo. But essentially that's the portal. We have various options for administering users. We have a design and print feature which allows you to design forms and print them locally. They're covered under separate demonstrations on the website. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at the web portal for Digital Ink. I hope you found the features useful and how we can actually look at sending photos with forms, how we can validate forms, how we can update them, and indeed how we can look at the audit features, the raster technology, etc. Okay, that's it for the web portal demo, and thank you for taking the time to view the video.